I desire hamburgers. I desire hamburgers all the time. I'm happy to be in California because you have In-N-Out Burger, which is my favorite. They're the best. So I desire hamburger all the time. You can wake me up at 2 in the morning, give me a hamburger, I'll just, Jazakallah, I'll just eat it. I love hamburgers. But I don't walk around saying it's my lifestyle. You like fried chicken, it's not your lifestyle. It's a desire. Since when did desire your entire lifestyle? It's not. So we're going to look at the truth. What is really, you know, what's behind those people with the loose limbs and the ligaments and stuff? What's their issue? I'm going to talk about that. You know what, my gay story goes like this. You know what a gaydar is? Yeah? See, it's your radar, your ability to detect a gay person. And some people have very strong gaydar. Who has a strong gaydar? Put your hands up. Fantastic. Okay, just one person has strong gaydar around here? So basically, I'm sure you, the minute you just take one look, you know, he's gay. Immediately, right? Excellent. My younger brother is like that. Just one look, he's gay. Now for me, my gaydar is like broken. I'm giving dawah to this guy in the streets in DC. And I work him up to the shahada, right? So I ask him for the shahada. He says, I can't. My lifestyle won't allow it. I said, what is this guy talking about? He said, look man, I don't know what you mean by that. We already agreed, you agreed on everything, you have the ingredients to become Muslim. Why walk away non-Muslim? I work on him again, ask for the shahada one more time. He says, I can't. My lifestyle won't allow it. I said, listen man, I've been doing this for many, many years. No one's ever said lifestyle to me. You keep saying lifestyle. What is your lifestyle? He said, I'm gay. And only then, when he says I'm gay, do I suddenly realize a lot of things. And here I am talking to you about being perceptive and stuff. Suddenly I realize he's wearing a pink t-shirt. And he's got the gay sleeve going on. You know what the gay sleeve is? The sleeve isn't here, and it's not here either. It's like that. You know what I'm talking about? That weird gay sleeve thing. I suddenly noticed the gay sleeve, I noticed the pink t-shirt, I noticed loose limbs and stuff. I go, oh. So at that point we didn't know how to deal with it. We just kept staring at him like that. And I was tempted to. I mean, even now I'm tempted to make a joke about him taking shahada but praying in the front row, but I'm not going to make that joke. Okay. So you know, the truth is, it's just a desire. It's not a lifestyle, it's not a right. We're going to look at some of the arguments they present. Because everybody wants a piece of you, brothers and sisters. That's the truth. Everybody wants a piece of you. You know, one description I like of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, they said that whenever he spoke about a topic, you felt like he spent his entire life preparing that one topic. Any topic he spoke about, you felt like it's as if that's his thesis, his dissertation was just this one topic. But tomorrow he gives a lecture on another topic, and you feel like he spent his whole life preparing this topic. Then he gives another lecture on another topic, and you feel like his whole life was preparing this topic. Now, we can't all be like that, but we should be well-rounded. Because everybody wants a piece of you today. Everybody wants a piece of you. The atheist wants a piece of you. You know, the gay rights activist wants a piece of you. Everybody wants a piece of you. So you have to be able to answer this person, answer that person, and put this person in their place, and put that person in their place. And this is the reality. We live here. This is how it is. Everybody wants a piece of the Muslim. Muslims want a piece of the Muslim. Right? We're even going to talk about other things. We're refuting and what kind of nice, good arguments can you give, you know, when it comes to issues of madahib and all kinds of other fiqh issues. How can you convince people? Different arguments. We're going to do all that, inshaAllah. Let me know when it's time to break. Yeah? So, that's more or less what's in the table of contents. Section 6 actually is when we discuss, you know, follow-up techniques when it comes to reverts specifically. Because a lot of work needs to be done when it comes to that. Okay. So now we're going to go over a certain area in the notes, and even if we have to break in the middle of this section, it's not a big deal. It's just the only thing that we're going to do today. Now, but before that, let me just talk to you a little bit about those who have attended the workshop in the past. And I actually have given it in California, probably, I've given it in this masjid. This was in 2007. I gave a 6-hour version or workshop. It was called How to Give or to Get a Shahada in 10 minutes. I was going to say 6. Yeah. So how to give a Shahada in 10 minutes. This was the workshop I was talking to you about in the beginning. This is a lot more than that. It will have some of those techniques incorporated, but this is 4 days. It's not just a 6-hour workshop. Yeah. But what about that 6-hour workshop? Yani, for those of you who are not familiar with it, who has attended that before? Excellent. Good. Not too many people. That's good. So the Shahada workshop, basically, I've been teaching it for the last 6 or 7 years. And there are many who have attended it and they've become superb du'at. There's actually a brother in Toronto who heard it online. And he started a da'wah team, and he brought, by an early count, I don't know what the numbers are today, he brought 160 people to Islam. And he retained 95% of them remain upon Islam, which is very, very high. So of his 160, 95% remain upon Islam. I got an email from a brother in Saudi Arabia who's doing da'wah to the non-Muslims there. This was like many years ago, maybe 5 years ago or something. And he heard it online as well, and at that point, 53 people had become Muslim from the foreigners working in Saudi Arabia. I got an email from someone in the UK, and he heard there's a 5-hour audio version of it, so it's 5 CDs. He heard the first 2.5 CDs online. This is what his email he sent me. He says, then he paused it to go out and get dinner. He says, on the way I saw a non-Muslim. So I said something from the workshop. So he gave an expected answer that was mentioned in the workshop. I gave him another answer from the workshop. He says the guy took his shahada. So he writes in his email, he says, I only listened to half the workshop and I got a shahada. What happens when I listen to the whole thing? I said, you get a shahada in 10 minutes. That's what happens. Of course now that title, it's not a guarantee, right? It's just a marketing title, interesting title. But a lot of times people get upset and Muslims come angry at me. How dare you? And sometimes even reverts come angry. It took me a year. You talk about 10 minutes. I'm like, yeah, it took you a year. It doesn't have to take everybody a year. We've done it in 10 minutes. I used to talk about this story of passing out pamphlets. I gave a guy a pamphlet. So this is a Million Family March in DC. We're passing out pamphlets all day. I'm walking this way. He's walking the other way. I give him a pamphlet. I keep walking. I turn around. He stopped. He's reading it. What should I do? What do you think? Naam? Go back. Why should I go back to him? But what made you say go back to him? Why? Excellent. Because he's reading. Excellent. Because he's reading and he stopped. All day you give someone a pamphlet, just take it, they keep walking. This man stopped. So as a da'iyah, you read these signs. So he stopped. There's something there. I just walked back to him. I still haven't said a word. When I got there, he said, okay, what do I do now? So for what? He said, to become Muslim. I said, you know that it's serious and you can't leave. And he said, yes, I know all that. What do I do? He took his shahada right then and there. It wasn't even 10 minutes. It wasn't even 10 seconds. Gave him the pamphlet and he wants to become Muslim. I'm that good, by the way. No, it has nothing to do with me. And it could have been anyone else in this audience. It's just that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put you at the right place at the right time. Maybe this person's been searching for months. Maybe he's been reading. Maybe he read half the Quran already. Maybe this was just the last straw. That he's been thinking about Islam and suddenly a Muslim gives him a pamphlet and he took it as a sign maybe. So, it's possible. And there have been a lot of people who have taken the course and they've become excellent du'at and they've had great results and so on and so forth. One time a 15-year-old took the workshop. This was, like I said, the 6-hour version. And next day his best friend became Muslim. And he even writes, he says that he's better than a lot of Muslims now, So, it's possible. So, what I'm trying to tell you is that the short version worked so well for so many people, and there's so many success stories, alhamdulillah. What happens with the full version? InshaAllah khair happens. I'm not going to give you minutes or anything like that. Okay, so we're on page 62 of the notes. We're going to discuss, that's all we're going to do tonight, 9, if we can get to the 9, or 6 actually, 6 techniques of answering questions. Okay, why this section specifically? I'll tell you. First of all, that a lot of Muslims think their job as a da'iyah is just to answer questions. You talk a little bit about Islam, any questions, and then the guy starts to ask you all kinds of ridiculous questions, and you just answer. And you just answer. And of course you have to acknowledge all questions as intelligent questions and then respond. And so sometimes what happens is, you might be in a bad place here. So for example, the first question, why does God need us to worship Him? See that question? And it's a common question. Why does God need us to worship Him? Don't start answering this question. Because if you start answering it, no matter how you answer it, you're wrong. True? No matter how you answer. Because Allah says in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ, you're wrong. Because Allah is so great and so magnificent that He's deserving of being worshipped, you're wrong. Why? What's wrong with the question? Just look at that question. Why does God need us to worship Him? And the truth is, Allah does not need us to worship Him. If you don't fix the question first, no matter how you answer it, you're telling them, this is why Allah needs us to worship Him. So first thing you have to do is, fix the question. Number two, can God create a four-sided triangle? And here people get excited. Yes, of course He can. Yes, He can. And what's funny? There's no such thing as a four-sided triangle, unless you're an idiot. That's a square or a rectangle. This triangle has three sides. So don't accept this premise. It's wrong. I'm just going to say, yes, of course He can create a four-sided triangle. He can even make it 15 sides. In your eye also He can create it. No, Habibi. There's no such thing as a 15-sided triangle. It's not a triangle anymore. Well, why should I accept this premise? Number three, an atheist asks, this one is a little more tricky. What is it about the Quran that makes you so sure that there is a God? What is it about the Quran that makes you so sure there is a God? Now, I was asked this question recently by two atheists. And they kept repeating it. I didn't know how to answer this question. I just found it difficult to answer. And then I realized why I found it so difficult to answer. Because, I didn't know where to start. Because they're starting from the wrong platform. They're assuming there is no God, so what's your proof there is? But I'm saying there's so much evidence in the Quran. Where do I start? Is it from the science? Or is it from the knowledge of the future? Or is it from the grammar in the Quran? Or is it from all the perfect solutions to problems? Or is it from just the life of Muhammad ﷺ that's proof that he was a genuine prophet of Allah? Where do I start? But he's assuming that he's right, and so what's your proof? Yeah? So it says there in the notes, no matter how well you answer question number one, you will always be affirming that God needs us to worship Him. You need to fix the question first before you proceed. So the rule is, do not immediately accept the person's premise, or you may be at a disadvantage. I think everyone sees how that applies now. All kinds of ridiculous questions will come at you. You know the one about the rock, right? Can God create a rock that is so big that no living thing can move it? And immediately your answer is, yes.